welcome once again to M5's English language learning programme, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. And welcome once again to the start of a brand new week. Yes, people, it's Monday once more. The weekend has gone for another few days, and that means that it must be time for us to get stuck into some more English. Am I right or am I right? Yes, I think that we all know that I'm right. Oh, now hang on. I've got something that I need to share with you all. I saw a billboard poster, you know, one of those really big posters you see advertising things at the side of the road and in places like that. These things. So, anyway, I saw an advertisement on one of these hoardings, one of these billboard things, and it was advertising something to help people lose weight. And here's the thing. They said that there was no yo-yo involved. I mean, how cheap can these people be? You buy their special diet food or whatever, and now they've decided to cut back on the presents, and you won't even get a yo-yo to play with when you buy their stuff. This is really cheap, people. I mean, how much does a yo-yo cost? Not a lot, probably. And if they gave you a yo-yo, you could use it to help you lose weight by doing some sort of exercise with it, like this. See? Imagine all the weight that you could lose with the special diet food and an exercise program like that with a yo-yo. So, I don't understand. Why would this company deny you the chance to have a yo-yo? It doesn't make sense. I mean, if nothing else, even if you don't develop an exercise program for the yo-yo, you can still play with the yo-yo while you're waiting to fit into your old clothes. I just don't understand this company. All right, moving along. So, do you all remember what I mentioned last week? The fact that there are a couple of songs which illustrate the present perfect, but which aren't so, well, cheesy. Well, as I'm sure you all noticed, we didn't manage to get around to doing that, did we? No, we ran out of time. We didn't have enough time to have a look at another song which features the present perfect. But that's what we're going to do now. Yes, with a different song, not with some weird song from the late 70s about someone giving advice on how not to spend your time sleeping with priests in California and seeing king's toilets in Spain or wherever. No, this song's a more modern song. It's by that famous band U2. You know, the ones with the silly names. The lead singer is called Bono, but that's not his real name, no. So first of all, let me tell you about this bloke. His real name is Cecil, I think. I've forgotten. Anyway, when Cecil was a child, a young boy, and also when he was a teenager, he had a dog. And his family bought dog biscuits for the dog. Now here's the thing. When I was younger, my mum never wanted to buy us chocolate. When we went to the shops, my sister and I would ask Mum to buy us some sweets, some chocolate, but she said no most of the time. She said that chocolate was bad for our teeth. But Mum used to buy special dog chocolate for Fliss, the dog. Now this was strange chocolate. It wasn't like normal chocolate, but it was specially made for dogs. I don't know what the difference was, but I do remember that it didn't taste the same as real chocolate. I know, because Kate and I, my sister and I, used to eat the dog's chocolate. Our logic was that if our mum wouldn't buy us chocolate, then we'd eat the dog's chocolate. But, as I said, we didn't eat a lot of the chocolate. I don't know, maybe this was a fantastic treat for dogs, but it just tasted strange to us. I bet you're all wondering how this connects to Cecil, the lead singer of U2. Well, I'll tell you. Cecil had a dog, and the family used to buy special dog biscuits for the dog, the same ones that we used to buy for our dog. These ones. Now, Cecil had the same problem with his mum that we had with our mum, sort of. Our mum used to refuse to buy us chocolate, and Cecil's mum refused to buy him biscuits for the same reason. Biscuits are bad for your teeth. So, can you guess what he did? Can you guess what Cecil did to get around his mother's refusal to buy him biscuits from the supermarket? Yes, that's it. You've hit the nail on the head. He used to eat the dog's biscuits when his parents weren't looking. Yes. And he discovered that he really liked the dog biscuits, the Bonio biscuits. He loved them. Like I said, for me and my sister, the dog chocolate wasn't a great success. Dog chocolate isn't as nice as real chocolate, but for Cecil, these dog biscuits were a revelation. He thought they were fantastic. So he used to eat the dog biscuits all the time. And when his family and friends noticed that he loved these dog biscuits, they started to tease him about it. They started to call him Bonio, just like the dog biscuits. So they gave him a nickname. Do you know that word? A nickname. That's a funny name that people give someone, a name that someone calls you, normally because of something you did or something connected to you. Sometimes it's a corruption of your name or something connected to where you come from. We have two categories here, really. We have nicknames and pet names. Now, the difference is that pet names normally indicate a closer relationship, and pet names are always positive. Your name might be Gabor, but your girlfriend or wife might call you Motzi. That's the pet name she uses for you. Your name might be Chaba, but maybe your wife calls you Krumpli because she thinks that your head looks like a potato, but in a nice way. Pet names are always positive, never negative. In fact, if we're being totally honest, most men in Hungary are called Motzi by their wives and girlfriends, aren't they? Most Hungarian men have the pet name Motzi. If you went to a crowded shopping centre in Hungary and called out at the top of your voice, Motzi! Most of the men would turn around, wouldn't they? Yes, they would. You know that. I know that. I would too. Anyway, so that's a pet name, a name that your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife calls you instead of your real name. Now, what about nicknames? Well, nicknames, as I said, could be a corruption of your name. Let me give you an example. When I started a new school in Scotland, my new friends took my name, Gavin, and corrupted it, changed it, warped it into a noun, governor. Now, governor comes from the word governor, which is an English word meaning boss, as in the person who governs, the person in charge. The official word is governor, but the substandard version you often hear is governor. Even today in the UK, you can hear people use this word. In the past, we used to use this as a synonym for fathers, the man in charge, the boss, the governor. So they went from Gavin to governor and from governor to governor. And then they abbreviated governor, as people often do, to gov. So I became not Gav, but Gov to my friends at school. They wrote my name with a U, not an A. They sent birthday cards to Gov, not Gav. Okay, that was my nickname, a convoluted corruption of my Christian name. But there were other simpler nicknames. Peter Bean was just called Beanie. In fact, there were 3 brothers in the Bean family, and they were all called Beanie. But the eldest was Big Beanie, the middle son was Beanie, and the youngest, who was in my class, was Wee Beanie. Wee is just a Scottish word for small. This way, people could identify the 3 Bean brothers. Okay, so a corruption of a name and then another simpler corruption. But let's think about a friend of mine from Hungary, Peggy. Now, Peggy's name isn't really Peggy. It's Jula. But when he was a student of mine, millions of years ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth and everything was in black and white, Peggy did something to his leg. I think he broke his ankle. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. Anyway, Peggy had a broken ankle or something, and that meant one thing. What happens when you break your leg or your arm or a bone in your body? Well, not always, but what normally happens? Yes, you go to the hospital and the doctor sets the bone. The doctor puts the broken pieces of bone into the correct position so that they can heal. And then the doctor puts a plaster cast on the broken leg or arm. The doctor wraps your arm or leg in a bandage which is covered in plaster of Paris. And this plaster cast hardens. It becomes hard so that the broken bones can join together again and heal properly. Okay, now because the plaster cast was on Peggy's leg, it made him walk as though he had a peg leg. Okay, so what's a peg leg when it's at home? A peg leg is an artificial leg, the sort of wooden leg that pirates used to have, something like this. So, think of the way that someone with a peg leg walks. Think about how they move. Yes, it's very distinctive, isn't it? So because Jula was walking around like someone with a peg leg, we decided that his nickname should be Pegleg. And then we abbreviated it to the name, the woman's name, just to make it more confusing. Peggy. Now, one thing we need to think about is the fact that all of the nicknames we've seen as example are positive. Well, maybe not very positive, but they're not negative. And this is an important point. Pet names are always positive. Nicknames can be positive or negative. If I ask you what your nickname is, then it's quite possible that you'll reply, I don't have a nickname. Well, maybe. But maybe you just don't know what your nickname is. Maybe your nickname isn't a positive nickname, so maybe people only call you this name behind your back. Perhaps if I ask the people at work what your nickname is, they'll say, oh, his nickname's Big Nose, or Smelly, or HDA. HDA? Homeless Dinosaur's Armpit. So, it's possible that you do have a nickname, but because it's not positive, people only call you this behind your back. Remember, pet names are always positive. Nicknames are sometimes positive, sometimes neutral, sometimes negative. Anyway, back to Bonio, Cecil, the singer in U2. All of his friends and family started to call him Bonio, and so the nickname stuck. To all of his friends and family, he was Bonio, so he had a nickname. But there was a problem. When U2 started to become popular, when they signed a contract with a record company, the record company didn't like the name Bonio. They thought it was silly. Record companies often change the names of singers. Do you all remember the singer Elvis Costello? Yeah? Well, his real name is Declan McManus. He didn't want to change his name, but the record company insisted. So the same thing happened with U2. The record company told them that they would only sign the contract if Bonio changed his name to something more normal. And after months of negotiations, they finally agreed on a compromise. Bonio agreed to change his nickname to Bono, from the Latin bono vox, which means good voice. Well, that's a subjective idea. Personally, I prefer Bonio. It's more original. Anyway, Bonio agreed to change his name to Bono, and the record company brought out the contract and everyone signed their names on the piece of paper, and the rest? Well, the rest is history. Now everyone's forgotten that Bono's original nickname wasn't Bono, but Bonio. And now, on to the song. Oh, hang on. We don't have any time left, do we? Oh, dog biscuits. Oh well, never mind. We've started the topic, and that means that we'll continue tomorrow where we left off today. All right, people, it's time for us to part once more. It's time for me to head off home. There's a coffee with my name on it waiting for me somewhere in the kitchen. Well, it's in the cupboard, in the bag of coffee beans. All I have to do is grind the beans, fill the espresso maker with coffee, no, not with coffee, water, then add the coffee grounds, and then turn the hob on, and then, well, wait about 4 minutes, obviously. And as for you, well, dog, cat, parrot, monkey, chores, You know what you've got to do, so go to it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have fun, whatever you do or have to do. See you all tomorrow. See you later. www.mediaclick.hu. Bye!